The Kingdom of Bahrain, a tiny islet in the Gulf, is a place that people go to let their hair down, party, drink alcohol and dress as they want. Although it is home to some of the region's finest hotels and best nightlife, it is most famous for its annual Grand Prix. But this glamorous side of Bahrain isn't seen or experienced by most. For the country's Shia majority, who live hidden away in small villages away from Manama, arrests, beatings, harassment and torture are part of daily life. From 2011, when the population peacefully took to the streets to demand greater political rights from the Sunni regime, life for most Bahrainis has been difficult. The Al Khalifa royal family, which effectively runs the government, continues to systematically crack down on any perceived threat to its hold on power. Every day since the Pearl Roundabout demonstrations, protesters have come out at sundown to voice their frustration and desire for change. And every time, the government sends in forces to stamp it out.
If you go and visit villages, you will feel that the whole state is under siege. We are living in a huge prison where people can't move, can't get from one place to another. A lot of checkpoints everywhere. And security forces, security measures are implemented all over Bahrain.
But while violent repression is commonly used by dictatorships to suppress dissent, the Bahraini regime has found a new tool, a new way of diluting opposition. It revokes citizenships. It makes Bahrainis stateless. Without a passport, a person loses every right a human being is entitled to. They cannot work, they cannot freely access education or medical care or legal support. Nor can they have a bank account, which means they can't buy or sell property and many other things. But they also can't leave Bahrain.
I was sleeping midnight. They announced it in the TV, Bahrain TV.
It was around 2 p.m. I was just having lunch with my family.
My kids, they woke me up and they said, "Dad, we have now bad news for you. They announced that they drop you Bahraini citizens." I said, "Okay, fine. That's all." They said, "That's all." I said, "Okay, bye, I sleep."
And I received a message through social media, says there is a list published, list of 72 Bahrainis whose citizenship is revoked. And my name was the third name.
I was out in Turkey and Thailand. I came back from there. I was on vacation. After 30 or 40 days, they put my name on the list for no case.
I found my name with a group that they took their passports. When I asked, they say, "We don't know, but you are one of them."
One morning in 2012, with no prior warning, the Bahraini government published a list of 31 people whose citizenship was revoked. This has happened twice more since. Once for 72 people and once for 56 people. Now a total of 159 Bahrainis are stateless. These decisions were made without due process. Legally speaking, not one of these people is Bahraini anymore. Most of them belong to the Shia majority.
If you lose your citizenship, it means you are dead. You can do nothing completely.
Anybody who's deprived of their citizenship has had taken away the most fundamental right of all. He's a non-person.
Bear in mind, if somebody loses his citizenship, he can't study here, he can't work, his family can't get health care. It means that he should either leave Bahrain or live here with a very difficult situation where it's difficult to get a job or education or even treated in a public hospital.
Although the authorities tell stateless people they can either stay in Bahrain or leave the country, neither of these things is possible without a passport. Hospitals, schools, banks and businesses do not recognize people without a citizenship. And in a country with checkpoints at every corner, not having ID can mean imprisonment.
But they say the case is yours, not your family. Nothing it will affect your family, but the effect I can see that it will affect my family, of course.
My business 90% gone. I have a big showroom for selling diving gears, and I had connection with all government ministries. Now, no one of them buying from me, and by calls, they're calling all my customers to keep away from me. So 90% of my business gone. So only 10% who I know that they dealing with me, and which is even just maybe covering my rent or electricity. That's it, and no more.
So every time I have to change my way, I have to go from another way. When I see checkpoints, I have to avoid that. You know, our life has become like a hell.
Discuss the case with the university management. I told them, look, this is the decision, what I have to do. They said, we can continue our relation with you. You are an instructor, unless we will be forced to fire you.
Also, they told me, we also withdraw your license for practicing as a lawyer.
Within 2 weeks, I have been called for a meeting, and they informed me that they are forced to fire me.
They sent the Central Bank of Bahrain to all the banks in Bahrain to close our account. And also they have no send the letters to the registration land, not allowed to buy or to sell the land they have.
You can see 5, 6 cars 24 hours by my house outside. Yeah, it's like 50 or 100 meters away. Any movement, they're following us. I don't know why.
Most of the people the government made stateless are human rights activists, journalists, and former politicians living outside of Bahrain. But those unlucky few still living in the country are not politically involved. From teachers to lawyers and business people, the government appears to be choosing people at random in order to scare the Shia majority, scare them from demanding reform and from protesting on the street.
Now, this revocation of citizenship is yet another useless, hopeless, and I don't think it will be an effective tool. Yes, you will induce fear in the hearts of some. You may deter some people from going to the street, but so what? Suppose there is no protest today. As long as there is no reconciliation between the people and the ruling family, peace is not going to return.
Most of these who've lost their citizenship, they have nothing to do with politics or human rights issues.
They wanted to frighten the people, to tell them if you start talking, this is what will happen to you.
The government claims these people are a threat to national security in accordance with the country's terrorism law. But no one is spared from the regime's latest tool of oppression. When in mid-2015, the authorities revoked the citizenship of 56 people, 9 of them were minors.
In 2011, the martial law has stipulated that Bahrain might revoke citizenship from somebody who might cause a threat to the national security. Or the government found out that his loyalty to the regime is in question.
We have a terrorism law which was created again as a tool to silence the people. This terrorism law can hold anyone accountable and be behind bars, even if he was found writing on walls, even if he's, no matter what age he is.
When the government published the list of 72 people in 2014, it was different to the first. To give its actions more credibility, the regime published a list that combined regular Bahrainis and Islamic State terrorists.
The list of the 72 was surprising to many because it contained the names of people who are associated with ISIS, the Islamic State, or Daesh in Arabic.
When on the first list, which was 31, All of them were Bahrainis of Shia school of belief, while here it's complicated.
So to put the things together is an attempt to distort the image and also to smear the names of the Bahraini natives who had committed absolutely no crime in the eyes of the law.
We are not meeting with terrorist people. We are not destroying. We are not doing anything. Why are they still behind us?
Many of the people whose citizenship were revoked now live in the UK as political refugees. This includes members of Al-Wafaq, Bahrain's main opposition party. The government has targeted many opposition groups since 2011. Al-Wafaq's leader, Ali Salman, is currently behind bars for inciting change by force. Brothers Jalal and Jawad Farouz, both former Al-Wafaq members of parliament, are among those who live in forced exile in Britain.
So for a sudden, I was in the exile, away from my beloved ones, away from my people, away from my family. It was those days very difficult also for my family to grant a visa to enter the United Kingdom.
Although my current condition is not bad, I'm managing it. But definitely nothing is like your country. If you live even in a very, very small house in your house, within your country, it's much, much better to live in a palace anywhere in the world.
Mariam got married, and in her marriage, I was not there. I was not there to take her to the priest. And this daughter was pregnant and gave birth to my granddaughter, and I was not there to see the granddaughter. Also, my son, his wife got pregnant and gave birth to my grandson, and also I was not there.
Although Britain recognises these people as political refugees, Bahrain and the UK remain strong allies. Since Bahrain became independent in 1971, British royals have regularly welcomed the Al Khalifas. For instance, Bahraini's King Hamad often joins Queen Elizabeth at the Windsor Horse Show, visits that are designed to bolster bilateral relations between two nations.
We have a historic interest, continuing from the time when Bahrain was a colony of the UK, and that relationship has just continued ever since. We invite them to events in the United Kingdom. Their government is welcome. The ministers are received in Buckingham Palace. They're taken to Ascot and all the other public events that you'd expect a head of state or senior ministers to take part in.
Britain has a strong economic influence in Bahrain. Many big British firms use Manama as a strategic base for companies wanting to access other markets in the Gulf. There are also strong military ties between Britain and Bahrain. Britain has run naval patrols in the Gulf for the past 30 years, and the Bahraini government is currently paying for a permanent British Navy base worth £15 million.
We regard Bahrain as a friendly country that is moving in the right direction.
I'm a citizen which after your statement on 20th, my citizenship was revoked.
Okay.
Just 10 days later.
But you're
without
one of
a due
the
process,
72.
yes.
Yeah.
Without a due process, without anything. On the same day, Nabil Rajab was sentenced to 6 months imprisonment for a tweet. The reprisal, the people, how they've been shut over the protest and so on, is something ongoing. The arrest of the political leader of Al-Wafaq is already there. I don't know how will we justify Bahrain is moving into the right direction. And this report, in fact, 79 pages from Amnesty, declares that this country is not really moving into the direction. In fact, it's moving backwards.
In May 2015, UK Foreign Secretary Philip Hammond made a secret visit to Bahrain amid UK attempts to sell BAE Typhoon fighter jets. That very same day, human rights activist Nabil Rajab was arrested for sending a tweet.
Bahrain government know how to buy the silence of the UK government. And I think not only Bahrain, all the Gulf countries knew the weak point that the British government has, business. You can buy their silence by giving them more business.
We were very much surprised when Philip Hammond said that Bahrain is on the right track. We were surprised. And what track? The situation is getting worse. Human rights defenders behind bars, journalists behind bars, people revoking their nationality, children behind bars. I have no idea what did he mean. It means only one thing. They are in the right track in dealing with the UK.
Contrary to Mr. Hammond's statement, the human rights situation in Bahrain is worse than ever. Although after the protests of 2011, King Hamad set up the BICI, an inquiry to investigate human rights abuses and implement reforms in the country. Its recommendations were never implemented. As a 2015 report by Amnesty shows, mass arrests, unlawful killings and torture are just some of the tactics the government is using to silence dissent, alongside the revoking of citizenship.
The Bahrain International Commission of Inquiry, which found that Bahrain was in fact guilty of torture, of unjustified detentions, of violations of the right to freedom of expression and assembly, you name it. I mean, there was a whole panoply of human rights considerations which the Commission of Inquiry looked into and made recommendations. And the King then said that he was going to implement all the recommendations, including reforms of the judicial system, precautions against torture being committed, precautions against the extrajudicial execution of people in custody. All of these things were accepted by the King on behalf of the government, and yet now these violations are more serious than ever.
There is no freedom for the national press. There is only, I consider, among the several journals, there is only one which is independent, Al Wasat, and this is being harassed, has been threats, has been forced in 2011 to change the administration by force, by threats.
Even as simple as a case like illegal gathering, we can't secure a proper verdict from the courts because most of judges are manipulated by the wave of hatred against majority of Bahrainis who are Shia, against majority of Bahrainis who are seeking better human rights situation and a democracy and a share of the power.
Let's be honest, if there is nothing to hide, why they don't allow the NGOs to enter, the journalists, why they don't allow the special rapporteur to enter Bahrain? If there is nothing to hide, let them come and see the reality, let them come and investigate.
Superpowers, they know and they hear this, but unfortunately they are just used to mention it in the media, but real actions, nothing.
This is not a democracy. This is not a country where human rights are respected. It's a country where universal repression reigns and where, I'm sorry to say, our government is tolerating the oppression that it knows perfectly well exists.
The regime tortures many of its prisoners of conscience. Most of these people are Shia.
During the period of my detentions, different type of torture has been applied on me, psychological, physical, and part of it was some type of sexual harassments.
Which I've been arrested on 3rd of March 2011. We've been in the jail for 6 months.
They said that there is a sheikh. Sheikh is a title of the ruling family members. They said that he's waiting for me, for Jawad Feroz, from morning. And they took me to him on a side that just was a few meters away from the place that we brought to. And he started hitting me badly. And he said that I'm waiting so long for you. He pointed the gun over my head, and he said, "You want to shoot me with this gun, but you don't want to spoil his hand with my dirty blood." I fallen down. Him and his guards continued to hit me badly in all part of my body, using so many bad words against me. Then his guard, they said, "It's enough. You got enough beating." He said, "I have electrical shock tools, but now it's too late. I will wait for you for a second time. They will bring you, and again have more time."
We were tortured for 1 month and 5 days. We've been in a very bad situation with God. I don't need to talk in that one because it's past. I don't need to remember that one.
It was so clear that the torture is not to extract information or to let you to admit something. It was so clear that it is part of the revenge and some hatred they want to express over you.
But torture is just one way that the government oppresses Shias. Discrimination against them extends to every aspect of their daily lives. Despite making up 2/3 of the population, they occupy virtually no positions in the army, the government, the judiciary, and other top positions across sectors.
A great majority of the unemployed people are Shias. You will see the majority of the homeless people are Shia. The majority of the poor people are Shia. And that's because majority of government institutions either discriminate against the Shia population or they just don't employ Shia citizens at all.
Bear in mind that we live in a very tiny place where people live together, and we never ask whether you are Sunni or Shia, whether in our work, in our schools, in high schools, in universities, wherever we are. But since 2011, Bahrain government has fed the others, especially the Sunni, that the Shia wants to take over the power here, and they will kick off every Sunni from their jobs, from even the country, and they want to rule the Bahrain, and they want to expel the Sunni families from here.
We never had any difference previously. Now the government is playing a sectarian card. It's dividing the people.
But Sunni and Shia, we used to work together, we used to play, we used to live together. We have families, or the wife is Sunni and husband is Shia, and the opposite.
This is something really dangerous. This card, which was played to divide the people, it will be a really dangerous card because we don't know what is the new generation. Previously, people lived together, they were friends.
Bear in mind that while they lost their citizenship, the naturalizing of non-Bahrainis, especially from the Sunni sect, are in hundreds. We believe that more than 1,100 being naturalized within these 10 years. And this tendency has intensified during these 5 years from the revolution.
The Sunni regime is fearful that the Shia majority will overthrow it and take power. To avoid this, the government is giving out hundreds of thousands of Bahraini citizenships to Sunnis from different countries. This is to change the population demographic in Bahrain. This means while Shias are losing their Bahraini passports, foreign Sunnis are receiving them. The 2006 Al-Banda report, which was published by a former Bahraini government employee, reveals that it is official state policy to discriminate against Shias and to naturalize Sunnis from different nations.
When everybody realized and discovered that discrimination that we're facing has a plan made by the government, and there is fact and figures which talks about how we should marginalize, how we should make this majority to a weak minority, how we should naturalize people so those people become minority.
Many from Syria, from Yemen, from Pakistan, even Indian, so many business people, all they're getting very easy this passport. nationality.
Pakistan and Jordan, and some of them are even Iraqi and Syrian. They all now Bahrainis. They hold Bahraini nationality or citizenship.
And one day, in 1 month, he get a new house, direct, high salary. He got everything, nationality, everything.
What I would call it is sectarian cleansing.
Since 2011, the Bahraini government has adopted a sectarian policy intended to divide the people, especially native Sunnis and Shias, and to discriminate against the Shia majority. The revoking of citizenships for native Shias is just one aspect of this. This is a phenomenon that is increasing rather than diminishing, as are human rights violations in the country. And in the meantime, the divide between Sunnis and Shias continues to grow. Key international players such as Britain need to recognise that these abuses are happening rather than remaining silent. This could prove pivotal in resolving a potentially explosive situation. Until Sunnis and Shias are free to live peacefully side by side, unlawful killings, arrests, beatings and torture will not stop. Bahrain will remain in turmoil and the people will continue to suffer.